Complexities turn to ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team ban. Complexities turn to ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team pick.
Witch Doctor.
Complexities turn to pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Invoker.
Complexities turn to pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Dusk.
Radiant team pick. Ten seconds
A
remaining.
world devourer.
Radiant team ban. Complexities turn to ban.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back into the Shanghai Major American Qualifiers. Here it is. It's Game 3. This will determine who moves on to Shanghai and who goes home with nothing. Complexity Gaming, Digital Chaos, game number 3 underway here on twitch.tv/moonducktv. My name is Bot. With me today is Lurkderp and, of course, Purge. How are you feeling here for game number 3, man?
I have no idea how this is going to go. I feel like DC is maybe outplaying Complexity a little bit. They look like they had potential in Game 1. They definitely outplayed Game 2. Game 3 could go either way. I think Complexity has the talent. DC has the talent. All comes down to a little bit of chance, a little bit of movement,
Yeah.
and good plays. You know,
I mean, it's
the
just-
players are playing the game.
Well, that's another big thing too. Also picks, we'll have to wait and see who wins that battle. Of course, we're not going to know as the draft ends, unless there's a really horrid draft on one side. But DC, when their backs are
5
against the wall, they'll go with the Witch Doctor first, and when they'll pick up the OD second. And this hero has, I think he's got a ridiculously high win rate here in these qualifiers. Lorca, if you could go ahead and look up the win rate for Outworld Devourer and all of the qualifiers here for this major, I would really adore those stats, because I really do want to know, how good is Outworld Devourer? What's his win rate currently? And Purge, what do you think of him more importantly?
Well, I think he's pretty good. He's definitely very good against Tusk, for example. If he gets ganked, he can always banish himself in a lot of cases and prevent that damage from hitting. Maybe that's not always the right play, but sometimes it will be. You can cover his allies in dangerous times. He's decent against Invoker in the 1v1. You can banish Invoker before he gets last hits and then go for last hits of his own.
Yes.
There's a lot of things like that.
And I'm sure that one of these two sides are going to have a roaming support early on. I mean, the dual mid startup for pretty much any team is just too strong to avoid. We saw it with AUI 2000 in both games. He actually did it with the Winter Wyvern, helping out I think it was the Death Prophet earlier on for Yawar, and then in the second game as well, where he was the bounty hunter and actually got a great start for the Yawar Invokers. So obviously I think it's something they'll do again, and that's kind of what I'm really interested in, is what are they going to grab for AUI 2000? What do you think this hero is going to be in this game?
10 seconds remaining.
Could be a bounty hunter again. Again, they had Tusk last game. Invoker is also pressurable by bounty hunter in the laning stage, especially with OD. Especially if you hit him a couple times, banish, get some more movement on them, and then go for the kill. It could be good. But a brew pick from Complexity gives them some very good team fight. Now, Liquid was drafting this hero a little bit in their qualifier. That was the European finals, and it worked out pretty nicely. I think it was played versus OD as well. I don't know if it was played in the laning stage, but in
role
team fights it was good. Well, he has to farm. He can't play support.
Okay.
He also has to deal with being mana drained by OD, because every time OD hits him with his orb at level 4 orb, it's going to drain 5 int, and Brewmaster's mana pool is very, very, very low.
Right.
So it's a little scary playing Brew versus OD, but if you do have some mana, you can cast Drunken Haze, the second ability, and that means OD is going to miss sometimes, and that's going to prevent the damage, as well as some of that mana drain. So that's what you have to balance out when you're playing Brew. It's a decent pick. It's very good against Witch Doctor, I think. In worst case, at the minimum, you can throw OD in the air for 6 seconds with your Storm Panda and prevent that kind of a contribution during the team fight.
This is a very scary pick. Can either go extremely well for Complexity, can get off to a fast start, get a really good Panda ult, followed up, maybe get a Blink Dagger early on, get a couple of good claps, or he could get absolutely wasted. And one way of doing so is a flat cannon coming up from a gyrocopter. The right-click damage is there. Obviously, you don't want to try to burst those pandas down with magic damage, but the flat cannon will do some work there. And this time it is Digital Chaos picking up the gyrocopter. Complexity have run this in both games this series, and now it's going to go for DC. And Complexity will pick up the Lich. Very interesting choice in support.
10 seconds remaining.
Well, it gives them good dual lanes. They could do something like Brewmaster Lich mid.
5 seconds
Definitely a possibility to put Invoker in the safe lane. That way, they don't have to chance OD being that amazing. And they also can punish him while limiting his farm. Like a Lich plus a Brewmaster, OD is not going to beat that lane. Maybe with a dual lane, they have some potential of killing the Lich, but I think that's what they're aiming to do. Just completely shut down the OD a little bit. Have lots of nukes in the team fight. Right now, Complexity's team fight is amazing. All 4 of their heroes are going to be very capable. And DCs are good too, so it'll be interesting to see how the fights go. But right now, DC's lacking disables, I think. Kunkka is going to be a good solution to that. Because he can initiate on Complexity. The only downside is it can't be on Brewmaster.
We've seen this hero picked a lot in the support role this tournament. And surprisingly enough, AUI 2000 has been one of the few that I've seen absolutely dominate with it. His X-Marks, his Torrents, his Ghost Ships, very strong, very solid. They will be able to be avoided maybe with a Snowball, perhaps a Blink coming out from the Brewmaster. We saw that last couple, I think it was 2 days ago when they played Archon against Monkey's Purpose Batrider. He actually was able to blink away from some of those combos. I do want to point out real quick before we continue to talk about this that Lorca did give me those stats for OD. He's got a 52% win rate, which is 13 wins and 12 losses here in the major qualifiers. And for the whole patch, he just has an extra loss out, of course, of these qualifiers. So he's He's right around 50% here, Purge, for Outworld Devour.
5 seconds
For the
remaining.
pro scene, that's not bad. Obviously, these aren't the best teams in the world, but they're at least like the top
Reserve time.
25 teams in the world, and that 50% at that level is amazing. So OD is certifiably strong. Maybe not OP, but strong.
I like that. I like that term. Certifiably strong. I agree with you, and I think also with the combination of all of this AoE damage, you have the Ghost Shift, as I've talked about, the Call Down, the Sanity's Eclipse. They have a lot of damage to work with here, and I think that's a bit frightening. Complexity have the similar kind of team fight. Again, we've talked about it before. And the last pick coming out, Complexity really had to think about their third and fourth pick with the Brewmaster and Lich. So they have only 1 second left of reserve time. They really have to get this pick in here quick.
They need more damage somehow. I think if Digital Chaos gets Kunkka boated, I think they just win the fight more or less on equal standings, because the
10 seconds
upfront
remaining.
damage that Complexity has is not very heavy. Invoker is
5
decently
seconds
damaged. Lich Chainfrost can do a lot, but if you're talking about an OD that has been boat buffed and a Brewmasters are running after him, they're not going to do it. I like
There
the Viper
is the
pick.
damage. Oh,
Yeah.
boy.
Good right click, good lockdown, keeps him not moving. The only downside is that Viper versus OD is not very strong, because when Viper ults OD, or ults anybody, OD can banish them for 4 seconds, and Viper's poison, his Viper strike does damage over 5 seconds, so it kind of limits in the mid lane. They could do like Viper Lich versus OD, that's a possibility.
Yeah,
But
that
they
sounds
also
pretty
have
good.
to worry about the gyrocopter. I
Yep.
think instead what they
seconds
might do
remaining.
is do a 1v1 mid, like Viper versus OD, and then do like
5
Invoker
seconds
Tusk
remaining.
safe lane, and then Lich Brewmaster off lane, potentially. Might be more likely, but I'm not 100% sure how they're going to lane. Pretty crazy.
I like those lanes, and I also do think, yes, Viper Strike is not great against Outworld Devour, but the laning phase, Viper is one of those heroes that I think can contest okay against the Outworld Devour. I mean, I've seen it not really go well. I've actually seen this matchup earlier this week, Viper versus Outworld Devour. I think it went decidedly in OD's favor, but it might have been maybe a lesser skilled player than playing the Viper. Nonetheless, he is going to be picking that up. Whether he plays it in the mid lane or not remains to be seen. Mid Viper is one of the most standard anywhere else, and I feel like you're really missing on what this hero has to offer, as I, of course, am the Viper expert here.
You
God,
really are, man.
I really am, and, you know, sometimes I think that's okay, and then other times I'm like, man, I'm a disgusting Viper picker. So.
Well, I like the draft out of Digital Chaos. I think the Complexity one has some interesting dynamics as well, but I have no idea who's going to win this game. It could easily go both ways. The laning stage is going to be really big, obviously. If the Kunkka can get a good start and get some ganks off, I think that'll be extremely relevant towards punishing Complexity. And then okay, they actually Sunstrike base.
Yeah, he did that before, I believe. Yeah, he did that against Shazam. I mean, how much
Not a big
vision is
deal.
that? That doesn't give much vision. It would have maybe scouted them out heading towards bottom. I'm not sure if it actually
Just
did
an
or not.
intimidation tactic. It costs him
Yeah.
no mana. The thing will be off cooldown by the time he might actually need it. He's planning to go Exort anyways.
Yeah.
Been really big there. Boots first on Kunkka, so that's going to allow him to ideally roam, get some stuff done. Looks like it's going to be Brewmaster with Lich in the off lane. Brothers dual lane.
Oh God, that's right. They've dual made so much. Let me tell you, brothers are good at Dota. If you have a brother that can play Dota, you best play with him, because the win rate will skyrocket in party MMR. I can talk from experience. All right.
30
see.
seconds to battle.
They also scouted for the level 1 Roche, by the way. They threw a Torrent in there just to make sure that Complexity wasn't in there. They can do it with heroes like Lich. They would need something to break Roche Link Gold Snap. Or for the Drunken Haze. But they weren't doing it either way.
No, they will not find them in the Roche Pit. Good Observer Ward placed down here on Complexity's side. They put it on the Radiant side of the river, and it looks like Yawar, aka Promises, will grab that top rune spot. Bottom goes for Limp, as always. So one bounty rune apiece. The aggro dual lane, as you talk about, as you mentioned into the draft, and you predicted correctly, and you will now see, it'll be up against the solo Darkseer, and the aggro tri-lane will come out from Digital Chaos. What do you think about this play?
I think this is really good laning here. It looks like Chessie's already kind of rotating though. He's coming to the bot lane here. He's most likely going to farm it, and then I'm guessing they're going to TP Swindlemelon's off or something. But if the lane stood with the dual offlane Lich Brewmaster, it'd be really bad for Complex. Yeah, Swindles is going over. He's going to buy a TP in about 3 gold. Then he will go top. So he's going to be playing offlane Brewmaster in the safe lane. This is ultimately going to be okay, and they might just keep the Lich here. I don't think that's terrible. It just means it's going to be a little bit bad for Swindle. So he's going to be under-leveled this game. He's not going to have that much farm. He might also die in his lane.
And there's a good chance they can go for a gank. How do you feel about the Tusk just staying with the Viper? And when do you think he's going to move out, or if ever?
I guess it's pretty dangerous, right? If Viper gets like 2 or 3 offensive skill points, he can just snowball on top of the OD and put him in a bad spot.
Yeah, that is very frightening. He is going to look for a rotation, it looks like, and I mean, Viper is already doing well with last hits. He's 4 currently, and the damage is pretty real. You can see UR's taking up half of his HP. Rotation coming in, it looks like 1437 put that ward down, and he'll spot Hansuke, but this might be the first blood. There's the clap. They have, I think, maybe Snowball. No, Ice Shards will go. Here comes AUI, though. The Torrent will fly through. Maybe not yet. The cast will go first. The Torrent will come next, it looks like. Not yet. They're still...
They'll be okay.
Yeah, they'll actually keep 1437 alive. He'll eat a Tango. He has no salve, but nonetheless, they won't be able to grab this kill.
That actually wasn't terrible. They cost Swindle Mounds a lot of mana to do that. Because, again, Brewmaster's mana pool is not that high. So, cost them some Tangos, but Tusk was level 2. Maybe they could have gotten that kill, or maybe an Orb of Venom would have made a difference, but nothing really happens there.
Yeah, so
Starline should go really good for DC, basically.
Astral comes out. I keep forgetting it takes the hero completely off the map, so I'm like, where's the Viper? And I look into the jungle, and it looks like, you know, he's jungling, but it's actually Z-Freak up on the Lich.
Oh, he might die
is he dead? He's just gonna get Frostblast. His very fire will go. Sunstrike. He's gonna walk into it. First blood for Jesse. God, they set these ganks up so strong. I was talking about it earlier with the Venge Stun into Sunstrike. Now the Poison attack into Sunstrike. Dear Lord. It's so difficult to deal with.
Yeah, he just lost track of where the Lich was, and he doesn't have a high ground ward mid. Instead, they put him at both rune spots to spot rotation. So the one lane that's going to do poorly here for DC is their mid lane. So as long as he limits the amount of deaths he has, then I think DC is going to get a big advantage going into the early game. But right now, he's got to be careful.
Yeah, there's an Arcane rune for Z-Freak, and boy, does he want a Frost Blast right now.
Lowers the cooldown of Sacrifice massively.
And what is the cooldown? 21 seconds? Dear God.
25 here with the Arcane rune in the level 2. So it's going to deny the farm from the OD, and his nukes are going to be easier too.
Meanwhile, bottom lane, Bulba is going to go ahead and get a pull off, and so Jesse is now soloing this lane up against Bulba, and Bulba's really not doing that well in terms of CS, only 9, and I guess this solo lane just kind of happened after the Lich rotated, so maybe he actually starts to increase his own farm. Flat Cannon will go in the top lane, Swindle. He's going to get cast up. They've got Rocket Rush. They'll put up. There's the Maledict. The clap will go through. Do they have the damage? There's the X marks. The Torrent's going to fly as well. They get the Sunstrike. They get the kill. Can they get both of these? The Rocket Barrage. Swindle sticks up. He actually might live. It looks like he might fall to the Maledict and TP out from Hanskin. And they'll get the kill with 1437 picking it up. So they get a trade, a 1-for-1.
Jesse's doing a great job helping out with these kills. If it wasn't for those 2 Sunstrikes, the game would be in DC's favor right now.
Frost Blast. War might get dove here. Oh, they get an uphill missing. That'll be the end of that.
He's definitely having a really tough lane here. It's hard enough to lane versus the Viper, but putting a Lich on top of that just makes it very difficult. They need to get lots of kills top, and these Sunstrikes are making it hard to get good trades.
Yeah, it seems dangerous. 1437, does he have to walk all the way back? He's got a TP scroll, but he doesn't want to use it. Z-Freak could rotate top, and all of a sudden, if they have 3 heroes up there, they might be able to contest with that Thunderclap. They have level 3 on the Brewmaster. TC has level 4, so he gets a bit more out of that kill. And he'll continue to farm up. He is the second highest in last hits. The Viper, of course, is first. And what does Bulba have? 13 still, again. I haven't really watched this bottom lane, but Bulba seems to he's having an uncharacteristically bad time in this year right now.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Chessie does have a lot of damage, though. With Alacrity, he gets plus 40, so it's hitting for like 100 damage. Means his laning shouldn't really go that well, but he does have the advantage of being able to pull.
Oh god, Hanskin picks up an Invis rune. There was a Radiant Observer Ward at that bottom rune spot, and there's one at the top rune spot as well, so they know he has an Invis, but UR does not seem that concerned. He will be concerned when Z-Freak walks over, and now he will leave, or at least try to. Here comes the Snowball, the Sunstrike off the mark this time. They'll stop that. They could go for the Astral, multiple TPs, and can they chase him down? They'll drop the ward. Again, Complexity do this every game with that Tusk, or just in general. Try to place that early deep ward. They have X marks. The range is not quite there yet. Is he faster? There it goes. They're also going to find Hanskin. Ice Shard block coming through, and they will not get that torn off. They couldn't decide who to go on, and DC will lose out on 2 kills.
Yeah, they were just completely tunnel visioned on Z-Freak on the Lich there, and because of that, the Tusk is going to live. So that was pretty costly for them.
Look how much CS they're losing on UR. He's not getting anything now.
I mean, that was OD basically. They might get a kill here, maybe.
Torrent will go, but you look at UR. Hanskin's walking to the back line. There's the Viper Strike. They might lose 2 here. There's the Sunstrike, and it will just barely connect. 1437 will get clapped up. 4-man gank squad coming through, and Complexity finds who this game Not the greatest start for Digital Chaos. Boy, this looks real bad.
Yeah, it does look really bad. Their rotations are not quite working out. They still have good ganks, but the pressure on the OD in the mid lane has been really severe. The Lich absolutely helping with him getting shut down. Creep Wave's always in a bad spot, so he can't lane versus the Viper. He's forced to ferry out salves just to go even with him, and now the Viper's a whole 2 levels ahead of him.
Yeah, level 6 to level
Compete with
4.
that.
And he really can't, and he's going to get continually ganked by Z-Freak. And this has been the story so far for Complexity, is shut down the enemy mid laner. They've done it numerous times. And sure, TC getting good farm, but so is the Viper. And it's really just, I think, how far are they actually behind? Surprisingly, only 1,500 net worth, but if that's from your mid laner, that's really a problem.
Luckily, the trade here is that they are getting equivalent last hits on the Brewmaster as they are on the OD. Those 2 heroes are going to be approximately equally farmed, but that's a lot better for Brewmaster than it is for OD. He
Right.
can do much more with less farm.
OD without farm, not that great. And he still is, again, it's also the experience too. He's forced to pretty much jungle right now, as this dual lane mid is absolutely destroying. And unless he gets like a recovery Midas or I don't even know how he gets back into this game. Like, he's a non-factor right now, and he will continue to be a non-factor. Maybe a good Sanity's Eclipse with a couple of arcane orbs coming through, but I doubt that's going to be the case. And now there's a room coming through Hanska. They have an observer ward. They scouted it out. They do see him. They're going to look for something. They have a couple heroes nearby. Roaming out is going to be AUI. I'm not sure what he's doing in the tree line.
They were trying to set up a kill on
team.
the Invoker, but the creep wave is pushed too far up, so 1437 did a side pull. They're going to definitely know that the third or second hero is here, but they don't yet know that AOI is there.
They'll TP back up with the Invoker towards that top lane, and they're actually just going to leave this lane 100% alone. If they actually rotated, like, Outworld Devour to another lane might be okay, but they can
6
just
on
follow him.
Brewmaster now. TC definitely should back off. All it takes is any one hero and he gets caught.
He's TPing away, and they will not find him. There's no
They
way.
did break the smoke, and now he shows bottom. This is the right thing to do. It's at this stage, it was crazy in some ways that TC hadn't been ganked yet. That was basically his perfect time limit. When Brewmaster hits 6, there's no way he stays. So he goes to the safe lane now, and DC's going to just go towards a very traditional game now. They're going to go safe tri lane, they're going to get some levels on their supports, and they're going to continue to try to protect Yuar if possible.
It's just so hard for him, not finding any farm right now. He's sitting pretty much only above the Tusk, who's a support. And Yuar is consistently getting pressured. The Hanskin Invis rune will be picked up. He seems to know something's happening, so he's going to back away. TC is doing pretty well, but he's still 700 and 800 behind these heroes. Digital Chaos are in such a rough spot right now. Bulba's trying to get that early mech. He's got the headdress. He's got the buckler recipe, so the mech will come soon. Not quite yet, but I don't know what they could do. Like, Chessie has a freaking Midas already. He's level 8 now. I mean, Swindles is finally getting room to farm. He's going to have 1,000 gold here in a moment. Like, this game seems super tough for Digital Chaos.
Well, one advantage they do have is that Darkseer is doing well, better than the Brewmaster is, so he can maybe get some advantage out of that, honestly, because if a couple good wall vacuums can absolutely turn this game. It'll lead up Chain Frost bounces, it'll force defensive abilities in places they don't want to use them.
Dire's bottom tower
It could
is
give them
under
enough
attack.
advantage. Especially against Viper, if you make an illusion of Viper, he's going to throw back Corrosive Skin onto himself, so it could apply some extra damage and slow there.
Yeah, does he have wall yet? Actually, he does have 1 point. Obviously, no points to vacuum. Again, I think Darkseer is a very level-dependent hero, and he's currently sitting on 0 points of vacuum, so he needs a little bit more room to work with. This ward is so good right now from Complexity. If they just rotate the heroes in the jungle, Yuar gets absolutely crushed.
AOI's in
Speaking
trouble.
of getting crushed, AUI, I think he popped up a Torrent. He did, and actually might keep him alive. The TP, he will not live. The cast will come through. The Malda comes out as well. Can they get this kill? He should
need to
die.
kill Henskin.
Maybe. Oh, he's going to live. Yeah, he'll survive.
Dire's
Maldic
top
is not
tower
doing
is
enough.
under attack.
Well, AOI does get level 5 out of that, so maybe not the worst thing ever. If he's 6, then the ganks can come, but for now, killing the Viper is
Dire's
almost
bottom
impossible.
tower is under attack.
He's got magic resistance, almost all the heroes do magic. The
He's
only
gonna
hero that
mech
can
too.
do well against him is OD, and OD's really farm.
The mech is going to come out, and that's going to be devastating. They're going to start doing the thing they do, which is 5-man down towers perhaps, and their team fight is already super strong. Without the OD Sanity's Eclipse, it's kind of it's full city. TC will back up. He's actually forced to leave this tower in deny range as Swindle has rotated down. Still no Blink, but he does have his ulti. No clap. He doesn't have the mana for it. The Ice Shards, they were looking for a gank. The Maledict onto Hanskin, it will not really do much. Lint might get Astral here. Now he's not walking up. And they'll leave TC down to his own devices bottom lane.
So TC now TPs the top lane, since the bot lane is not very safe anymore. With the tier 1 tower dead, that means the creep wave is almost always going to be in a dangerous position. So maybe a bit confused here. He TPs up there, but looks like they're anticipating the smoke, but he's just slightly inefficient about this. Maybe could have killed the jungle camp, but I guess he wouldn't have had mana, so they need to get this kill. If they don't get this kill, they're insanely far behind. And Chessie's a good one. He's got a killing spree. He's got really high net worth on his team. This would give them a massive amount of gold.
I mean, I swear, their game sense is through the roof, honestly. Look at where Chessie is positioned. Like, maybe not. He's going to walk around. They'll see him. The X marks will go. He has the Ghost Walk. The Cauldron will fly. The Sunstrike will go on top of it. He's actually not going to hit Chessie. They have the detection. The mech comes through. Can they turn this? They really need him. The wall.
Oh, what a wall.
Now Limp's in trouble. The Snowball TC might fall after this. Can they turn this? Limp's actually going to go to work. There's the Chain Frosted Ball, but he cannot afford to die. He tried to surge out his teammate, and this will be a death for him as well. The Torrent, maybe not. He's got Surge at 5. They can catch him. He's so slow with that Frozen Tint to the last right click in the air. Ice Shards will do the job. They get the kill, but at a pretty expensive cost, Purge.
I think that was worth it, though. If you look at the fight recap, it does give a gold advantage to the Dire team there, but it wasn't super awful. Jar only lost 139 there. Bulba should not have died. He should have let him go down. I think at that point he was pretty committed. But he does end up... he does buy the mech at least, so Bulba saved money there. It's one good advantage.
Yeah, but... not losing too much is really not the tactic, I think, for Digital Chaos, as there's still... I don't want to be the dead horse, I suppose.
Hey, the game is definitely not over yet.
That's very true.
AUI is level 5, it's still not 6. Great Observer placed by Z-Freaker. It's going to spot out the TP by Darkseer. This doesn't reveal everything, though, so it's just a Darkseer. Darkseer can just passively farm, and the ward sees him doing that, so they may not anticipate all the heroes being there. They might think they're all mid.
They're setting for gank on mid, by the way, for Complexity. They're roaming in with Swindle, who has a blink now, and UR has to back to this tier 2 to maybe even stay safe. And they're just all here, every single one with the exception of the Tusku's top lane alone. DC have no idea this is the case. Maybe they'll see now. They might have seen Swindle walk through the tower. He was close. They see him now as there's an Observer Warden. He'll back away. Top lane, DC are still playing very cautiously. They're going to lose their tier 1 mid, as it's going to be Chessie the Invoker taking it down. And UR will continue to get some room to work with.
This game is being played quite well by UR, honestly. He hasn't been ganked in a while. Oh, they might initiate on someone. He's sending back.
Mark's going to go. Sunstrike. AUI's about to die. He's so close. And he's going to go down. But Limp is on the backside. 1437 walks into trouble. There's the Bowler Smash. He's going to fall as well. They're even going to chase all the way towards the tier 2 tower. Will they dive this? It looks no. Like they're going to just go for that tier 1 tower top lane. And they're essentially playing 4 versus 5 because they cannot have UR engaged in battle. They have to just sit back and hope for the best, really.
They're doing such a great job with their pressure. If AOI was the only one that died there, that would have been alright. He sent the Brewmaster back, which meant his Blink Dagger was kind of wasted, but with Viper in that positioning, more heroes died, and I think DC maybe needed to anticipate that they were going to rotate off at the mid lane, but they didn't completely know where everybody was.
15,000 net worth advantage going the way of Digital, or not 15,000, sorry.
Oh my God,
7,500. Jeez, I was gonna say that sounded way.
15,000 is like unwinnable at this stage.
No, it
7,500 is incredible, but they can still win this if they get a good team fight. They've got the mech on Bulba, that's gonna make a big difference. They've got Vacuum Wall. They just need to fight when there isn't a Viper Strike, and they need to get 6 on their supports, which finally have. Witch Doctor is 6, Punka is 6. Hard heroes to gank, though. Brewmaster is hard to set up on. He can just pop his ult. Viper's got magic resistance. Even the Invoker there was hard.
Yeah. And now with the Yules as well.
Yeah, he basically can't get Torrent boated now. He can protect himself from that initiation. So they have like 3 cores that are very difficult to kill. Makes the Kunkka pick much worse.
Yeah, especially when you're behind. You want to get that level 6 early as possible. The amount of work you can do is pretty insane. Complexity will go for another rotation and another great TP coming out. Rotating out of that lane, I believe, was TC back up towards the top. Actually, it was, I think, Bulba, just kidding. You are now sitting with the Staff of Wizardry, but he's going to walk maybe into some heroes now. They're on the other side of the jungle. Z-Freak will place a very deep ward. And it looks like Digital Chaos will finally get this tower. Maybe not the Heavy There's a couple of TPs ready up and available as well. They might lose this tower, and finally, Digital Chaos, it looks like they will get some semblance of farm going their way with this tower now falling.
They did spot Brewmaster mid, so they're going to feel semi-comfortable in fighting, taking the tower that is. And Yawar's just trying to get as much farm as he can while being safe. Completely makes sense. Most likely we'll go Force Staff first, I think. Just for the fact that if Brewmaster does initiate on him, being able to get some distance between him and his opponents is really important. He's definitely behind, but he's doing his best to catch up. His net worth is actually abysmal. 3,700. It's looking really bad. It's going to be so hard for him to compete with the other carries.
Yep. One team fight could do fine. Now he's actually going to get chased down. Still no force yet. They need the heroes to be here mid. He's got the savings. Eclipse will drop it. Onskin's low, but the Walrus Punch will come out. They'll grab the kill. And so that ultimately gets nothing done. And great rotations and kill again. And I mean, if he had a force step, he might have lived there, but still no cigar.
Almost nothing he can do to it. That was 2 heroes, by the way. They didn't even have to use Primal Split. Just level 6 support and Swinomones doing a clap hit. That's looking so bad for DC fans. Their supports they have a really hard time getting kills on the cores. The core is not able to catch up very well because it's an OD, and he's really behind. I don't know, man. Is this how it ends for DC?
I hope not. This game 2 was insanely good. I enjoyed every second of it. You could argue it could have been closer. This game 3 is not close at all, and I think that's what we're all rooting for, is close to it.
Does it make you feel better that a Viper's winning?
No, not really. I mean, I love Viper, but I mean, they've played this so well. I have to say, it does make me feel better that the Complexity are actually just dominating. They've showed really solid prowess, and they're even going to lose UR again. It looks like he tried to Astral. I think the Brewmaster instead will have to Astral himself, and he'll go down again. The Substrike just at the right time. The right click from the Viper will do the job. They're going to give it to the Brewmaster, as the Fire Spirit will just go ahead and immolate him to death. I mean, they are just playing so solidly. I mean, that's it in a nutshell.
Yeah, they really are. As long as Complexity doesn't die anywhere, they guarantee this game win. Oh, Zephyr might get caught mid, actually. There's the X marks. They're going to blow everything.
I mean, this is going to be maybe a kill. The Torrent comes out. Do they have the damage to Death Ward? The call down. That's how much they have to throw for a Lich. And they're going to get counter-engaged as they're going to jump in. Clap actually misses, I think, on 37. He's still going to go ahead and try to TP out. Won't make it. The Torrent will go through. That's still a fine trade, I'm sure. They get the better end of that one.
The crazy part is they got about 1,000 gold from killing the Lich there. When you're this far behind, every kill is massive.
Yep.
And then with the Witch Doctor dying, oh, I'm sorry, that includes the Lich Death now. They actually still came out a positive 400 gold. Completely worth it for them.
Chessie with a Blink Dagger. The good thing is there's no BKBs other than obviously the Primal Split, which is I think kind of frustrating for Bulba. But if they get off a back wall combo, there is a chance with the call down, with a ghost ship, all that jazz, there's a chance that they can win a fight. But they're not going to take a 5v5 fight, maybe for the rest of the game with how this is going. And maybe Ywar can catch up if he decides to go for a Midas. He's clearly saving up for something is, I think, enough. Meanwhile, Chessie just gets a destroy on AUI.
Yo, Blink Invoker, Sunstrike, Meteor Blast combo.
God. Dear Lord, that is frightening. A Midas picked up for the Brewmaster, so even if Ywar picks up a Midas, he's still going to be behind this Brewmaster. He just doesn't have enough to farm. He's going to pick up the Force Staff first and foremost. Will he go for a Midas after? Will he go for anything, really? I mean,
I like the Midas in this case. They're really far ahead. It's going to guarantee Brewmaster accelerates in nice ways. He can buy carry items at some point if he wants to with this. And he's already got everything he needs, and they've got the gold advantage, so good pickup there, I think. And that's going to be a Roche for Complexity, most likely. Very low chance that DC is able to do anything about this.
Yeah, it's too late now anyways, even if they rotated, even if they decided to head over there, there's no way. And TC's almost got his BKB, and he's the one farmed hero on DC's side, and he's still not that close to both Chessie and the Viper, and even the Brewmaster's going to start catching up now. They'll pick up the Aegis now for Chessie. Maybe should have given it to the Viper, but he's going to have an SNY pretty soon. He's already tanking up with the mech as it is in treads. God. Oh, this is just such a miserable way to lose.
Yeah, it's going to be really tough. Lich really just made such a big difference in the mid lane, and just one or two of those deaths, the Sunstrike really, basically like a tri-lane versus an OD, like, it's very, very tough to deal with that. And on a hero that has trouble coming back, that's the counter, man. You just kill him a lot early on, and then you win. It's not over yet, though. They can still get some ganks. OD has finished his Force Staff. He's picked up a Robe of the Magi. His stats look okay. He just needs to be not engaged upon first. Has to be Jar with the BKB, and once they get the BKB, they can try to take some fights. Maybe not a straight 5v5, but something like that is something they can maybe do.
Top tower is under attack.
Complexity will continue to push and take this second outer tower. Here comes the ghost ship. The Torrent will fly as well. It won't connect onto anybody, but it was just trying to push out the wave, and it did a good job of that. X-Mark will go again for AUI. He'll try to maybe throw up a Torrent here. It's done. And that will actually take some extra damage again. He does not have the Aegis. He still has the mech if needed. He's taking some damage. Jump in. AUI's going to get caught. He walked a little too far up. He's not going to get hit with the Sunstrike, but he's going to get Yules. There's going to be the meatball coming through the Deafening Blast, and that will provide the kill. Good cast comes out, but there's nothing he can do there. They just jump right on him and get an extra kill their way.
Just a little too dangerous. AUI was trying to just delay things as long as possible, but going out after that Torrent on the Viper when he was slowed was just a bit too dangerous there. With the Observer, they easily catch him and he goes down.
He sees TC sitting now up towards that BKB. He has the money for it. He's gonna have to buy it out now, and this is going to be the team fight that is going to either.
Alright, they can do this. They have Blink on Darkseer. They've got BKB. They gotta wait for the Kunkka. That's the only thing. They need to follow up damage.
Will Complexity back off? There's still the OD top lane. They're waiting for the engagement. Take the towers, get a TP home. The Viper, the Alacrity's up. He's got the mech. The cast will they'll lose the tier 3. They don't lose anything else. Maybe it's okay. Now they're going to jump in. The BKB will fly. The cooldown will go. The Sunstrike will go through it. There's the back wall coming out. The mech will go. They have to go shift it now. They'll actually get the sand as it comes off. The
it's going okay for DC.
TC is all right. He's doing okay. He's going to get Walrus Punch. They'll drop the Ice Wall. They might have to back now. 457. They've got the Axe Scepter. No, they have the Witch Doctor ulti. Torrent's going to hit up on Chessie, but he's got the Aegis. And he does not care if he dies. Good cast coming in. TC will fall. Swindle back up, and everyone is low. And now with everybody low, Complexity will still continue to push the Sunstrike in the base. It will not hit on DOR. He doesn't have a TP scroll. They still haven't done any damage to the racks. There's the X-Marks going in. They've got the Torrent coming out, it looks like, in just a second. Maybe not. They still have the right click. Swindle might have to just get back to the low ground. Look at the damage coming out. He's in trouble. You are. Just turn on him. There's the Astral. Now they have the Melee Rex in trouble. Getting right click down. Bobo looking for the vacuum. He finds it back into the wall. They will get the Melee Rex, but now they will all leave. They'll get the kill out of the Brewmaster. They could have gotten so much more. And they lose their Melee Rex.
That fight just could have started a lot better. It started out with Yawar getting initiated on by the Brewmaster. He's forced to defensively force staff, and it wasn't the best force staff. TC did jump in there with the BKB, and he was doing damage, but nobody died right at the start. It wasn't how it needed to start. The way the fight needed to start was it needed to be a Blink Vacuum wall with Kunkka Boat. Something like that. Catching Boat and Torrent on 2 heroes would have been amazing, but Yawar's positioning was just a little out there, and Complexity was able to initiate because of that. They can do it, though. Vacuum wall into Torrent is like it's a Ravage. It's a reverse polarity, and they've got tons of damage to follow it up with. Fight has to go with DC initiating. They can still win this, though.
Black Cannon goes to work, clears up the creep wave. Another tier 1 will fall, but they're still 12,000 net worth behind, which is pretty ridiculous. AUI and crew will back up. Brewmaster finally has to respawn. He's got his ult in 12. And I agree. They have amazing team fight for Digital Chaos, but they still need more items. They still need more farm. And TC's looking to do that right now with the Sanctioned stack. He's up to 800 gold. Maybe he can find another item, maybe another component at the very least, to give him either more damage or more survivability. An Ogre Club, a Blade of Alacrity, something to get him going. And they're starting to catch up with Yawar, but still they are doubled in net worth. With the Invoker up to 13,000 and Yawar up to 6.8 or almost 7,000. He's going to go for the Orchid. And maybe with the Orchid, they can find a good team fight.
Man, it just makes things so dangerous too, because if he ever yields to somebody, they just kind of die. Like, Chessie on the Invoker can just kill just about any hero on DC. It's something they always have to be afraid of.
This is a complete 180 from the last game. Digital Chaos not finding any room to breathe, not finding any room to farm, and Complexity choking them out, looking for the last outer tower. They've already taken a Melee Rex mid. Not the worst thing in the world because they have a Gyrocopter, but still super annoying to deal with. Chessie has 3,000 gold in the bank, 2,200 surplus. He's got a Yules already. He has a Boots of Travel. He's a Midas. He's got a Blink. Hell, he's got 2 slots left to work with before he has to start, moving items around or selling them or whatnot. But next item, Smoke of Deceit. They do not.
They might run into each other.
Do not have Viper. It's going to be close. Viper can walk over now.
If they break this,
Swindle's in trouble. There's the Astral coming through.
Oh, this could be it.
They're going to maybe take this fight. The BKB's pop. The cooldown will go. Swindle in trouble. Will he fall? Yes.
They got him.
They get the vacuum ball. Lips in trouble. The mech will go, and he's down for the count. They lose UR, but TC is still going to work. They're looking for Z-Freak. Will they get 4? I believe so. Chessie might escape, but look at the slow. The Frost Armor, but here's Bobo the Blinkin. Triple kill for him. And Digital Chaos lose 1. They take 4. The turnaround. It might be now, Purge.
Just perfect circumstances for that fight to start for DC. They lucked out a bit because when the enemy team comes through this kind of a gap here, this is really dangerous. Their only way to retreat is through this tiny little path out, whereas DC can run down, they can run left, they can run just through these trees. There's so many ways for them. So they all got grouped up. They waited until after the Astro because the most important hero for them to kill was Brewmaster, and they followed it up with Torrent and the Vacuum Wall, and then the fight was just won there. Boat buff lands on everybody, Chain Frost damage is delayed, extra illusions to tank the Chain Frost, and DC gets a huge win.
And that one fight is good, but they need about 2 or 3 more of those before they are really in a great spot. But that could be the beginning.
That fight was the difference between losing the game and coming back. If they lost that fight, game is over, basically. There's no coming back at that point. But winning that fight, they're behind, but it's not dire straits anymore. They can definitely win this.
And now there's going to be, like I talked about, damage is much needed for the Gyrocopter. He picks up a Demon Edge, and with 1,500 gold in the bank and 1,500 more, he can get to an MKB. You go for a Rapier if he really wants to. I'm not sure that's going to be the case. There was an Ag that's just picked up, but that's Chessie's. Yeah, I doubt that'll be a Rapier.
And OD's going for an Orchid. This is actually pretty big because if the fight starts like it did last fight, where he banishes the Brewmaster, he can Orchid him immediately afterwards, and then the guy can't split. And by doing that, it's going to be a huge advantage if they can just kill Brewmaster at the start.
He did go for Vlad's. He's a bit tankier now, too.
Yeah, that kind of helps, but not that much against OD, and it doesn't do anything against nukes. What Brewmaster really needs now is a BKB.
BKB, right.
Because he needs to make sure that he doesn't get killed before he ults. If he gets his ult off, the fight gets much, much harder for DC.
Really good catch from UR. He did die first. He was the one in front lines, but hey, can you imagine if he survived too? He would have got that gold, and he's probably at his Orchid right now.
He's very close. He's only about 750 away.
Yeah, I mean...
Then he can start solo killing heroes. He can solo kill Lich, probably. Yeah,
and
definitely
also,
Lich.
They could have gotten Chessie too, and he's a big, big net worth target as well. Boba is sitting, by the way, at 3,600. He's got a Shiva's Guard recipe. He's very close to having this item. Everyone's going to
pretty big advantage. The damage is good. The attack speed reduction is really nice against Viper, since Viper is usually lacking attack speed.
Oh, Complexity. Limp in the front lines. This could be the fight in Digital Chaos. They don't have buyback in almost all of their heroes, it looks like. Let me check real quick while I have a second. The TP in, UR is going to get forced out. The split will go. Can they actually get this fight going their way? There's going to be their tornado. UR is stuck in a bad spot. Now the BKB is going to go, and it looks like Boat will fly next. And no one's dead yet. Here comes Lip. He'll get the kill onto the Outworld Devourer. The cast can be through the Ice Shards. TC, can he get back into the high ground? He cannot afford to die. And now this game is turned to a sudden worst turn for Digital Chaos. The Ice Wall is going to fall, and he's in trouble. The Vacuum Wall will miss. He's got the buyback. They might just lose this one Rax alone. UR will be back up at 35, and that is not the fight going the way. Great smoke up to seat gain coming up for Complexity.
Yeah, the problem was he used the Force Staff right at the start, and what they needed was Witch Doctor to come up and force him to the other side of the Ice Shards. But Viper swinging around the backside forced the Witch Doctor to run defensively. So if they were all sitting there when that fight started, it could have been good for DC. But those two dead heroes get scary. There's the buyback from Gyro. He doesn't have BKB. This makes it so hard to fight, and there's no wall as well.
There's no ghost ship. There's no wall. They have only a Sammy's Eclipse to work with, and already this melee Rex down bottom is taking some damage. They will take it more than likely and back away after grabbing it. The Torrent will come through. There's the vacuum back in onto the Torrent. Won't catch. The cast will come through. Now the Viper backing away, the cast going in, the Sunstrike will connect, and that is a dead 1437. He actually forced out, maybe not. Here's the call down. Swindle will jump in, no split available. Now the answer for the BKB is popped. There's Insanities, doesn't do any damage to Chessie. He'll get the heals up, the boat coming through. Chessie, triple the neck will go through. TC already fought back, cannot afford to die. They'll get Swindle. Can they get more? UR is going to have to do damage in here, and they actually will lose that melee Rex. Onskin is about to fall. Z freaking left, getting low. They'll take 2, they'll take 3. They will save their ranged Rex. UR will get the most of that in terms of the double kill, getting him up to that Orchid levels. They still have lost a set of Rax in that bottom lane as well. That melee Rex is gone.
That Rax disadvantage is so scary for them. They did get a lot of gold out of this. Gyro only losing 449, but he did buyback. I don't even know if this is counting his previous buyback.
It's not.
He probably lost a lot.
Yeah, he was
only
at
got 500.
He was 1,500 earlier. He is now at 500 without buying another item. And 2 BKB charges shorter. He's actually down to 6 seconds now.
They do have the Force Staff on Kunkka, though, so more Force Staffs going around. That's 3 Force Staffs now on the Radiant team that can protect them against Tusk, but Ice Shards is making it so hard.
The BKB is also up for the Viper. He was getting owned by the Sanity's Eclipse. He's been getting owned by the Rocket Barrage, the Call Down, even with, excuse me, that corrosive skin. He's still having, he's going to pick up that BKB, and now it's going to get even harder for DC.
He's just going to turn that on, and he's going to force 4 staffs, and that alone is going to make a big difference. Fight's very hard. The Brewmaster going in first, they have to get everybody out. Otherwise, the fight just... That's pretty much game. That last fight looked very game losing. They were able to hold on at the end, but boy, was that close.
Well, now I mean, the Gyrocopter, if he gets a Rapier, I mean, he's died very quickly.
Oh, it's Rapier time. It's definitely
Okay.
Rapier time.
All right, well.
I completely agree. It's too late now. The last racks, only 1 rack's down. Yeah, you can play it a little safe, but now when you're 2 racks down to 30 minutes and they have a huge gold advantage, it's Rapier time. On the bright side, Gyro has not been the one that's been getting caught. They've got 3 4 staffs on heroes that aren't Gyro. So if he does get caught first, they can probably save him. And he's got a Helm of the Dominator, so he's going to be healing a lot whenever he attacks. But it's definitely Rapier time. And his BKB is very low, so he's got to be... Like, he has to do all of his damage up front right away. And even against that, Lich has level 4 Frost Armor, so everybody's going to be very tanky.
Yeah, that's actually kind of ridiculous now that you think about it. Not only that, but they have the Vlads as well. They maybe even get an Insult Dross next for the Brewmaster. Chessie has the BKB, which also the Viper picked up as well. Now all that's missing is the Brewmaster BKB, and with those items, that's when the game ends, essentially. You cannot fight into 3 BKBs unless you're the one getting the initiation, and even then, unless you somehow kill them super quickly, there's just no way. The Shiva is done for the Darkseer. That might be a big item for them, but... At this point, they have to have a miracle. Maybe getting a Roche, but there is going to be these 4 spirits here in the pit. And I don't think Complexity are going to let this happen. They're going to group up and either look for a push elsewhere or more than likely a Roche fight.
Well, they do know what's happening. Can they get here in time? I feel like they can.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. They're already on their way, and it's only at roughly half health.
I mean, if they see 5 coming in, Boba can do some big plays. He can throw them onto the cliff or something. Gonna be close.
Oh, yeah, they're not gonna get there in time. They're not gonna finish this in time. TC has to pop the BKB, but there it is already. TC's in trouble. The Viper Strike will go, and well, Yawar is done. That might be it already. With 56 seconds, he's down to the sidelines. Can they get the Aegis? Absolutely. Now the Chain Frost comes in, and there's the vacuum, maybe under the high ground. No, they actually avoid it. They're going to get the Ghost Shift off, but still, Bulba's in trouble. The Shiva's already gone. And Complexity, they're looking like they might take this game. There's the GG.
Oh, man.
They're going to move on to Shanghai. DC out of it yet again. And Complexity will be the second team to punch their ticket.
Complexity.
I just want to say that I feel bad for all DC fans, and they've been working so hard, and they've improved a lot since the last major, and they got beat, man. They almost made it the other day against Archon, and again, they lose 2-1. They just got so far behind early. They had some really good moments, but getting the double racks was the moment of terror, and maybe they shouldn't have gone for that panic Roche, but... And BKB's just beat him in that last fight. There was nothing they could do about it.
Yeah, I think